What is up, guys? Welcome back to another sit down Sunday. Slightly different today. Today I'm going to be building some Genestealer Cult. Considering I haven't built any 40k models for quite a while, or played 40k for ages, I figured why not? Got some models lying around since the new book's been out. Wouldn't mind maybe using this as my army to get back into it a little bit. So for anyone out there who's playing 40k currently, today your job's to convince me to play 40k again. I literally have not played it for ages. I've sort of kept up a little bit with it, but haven't done anything major for a long time, and haven't played a game for a long time. So figured, we'll try that out. So we are streaming out to Twitch and YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So hopefully I should be able to see all your guys chat in one place. We've got 40k TV, high 40k TV. No shocker there. Well, okay, so these literally have just been, it's probably the most painted 40k army that I now have of stuff that I've got left. So this choice hasn't really been made over anything bar the fact, okay, I could pick the book up and build some of the models I've got left and see what we've got. So, but you played 2 games of them yesterday, so how did that go, dude? How were they? Because again, at the minute, I haven't even read through the book or looked at anything particularly, so I'm just at that stage of I'll just build the remains of what I've got and then go from there. I'll probably pick up some of the new stuff, and just see what it's all like. But and so as of next week, I think I did say last week I'd probably have it done by this week, but I haven't managed to get it done. We will have 2 cameras, so we can actually have one set up on whatever I'm working on, because this session is just to be a, well, as it says, sit down, chill out, talk hobby, have a chat with everyone, see what they're working on, and I can just, it's a bit of time for me to work on some personal projects in the meantime, so at least there's something else going on rather than just my ugly mug in the way. There are several tricks that they can do. Yeah, they look. The one thing that I thought that looked really cool was the blip deployment, because from what I've seen, you can deploy as a blip. Is that right? So you don't necessarily know what's there, which is really cool. Because I think there was, is it one of the more narrative missions, or even an open play mission? I remember playing an event somewhere where you secretly wrote down and numbered all your units, and you used to deploy. You'd deploy like a marker for them all, and then you'd reveal it all sort of at the same time, and that was really cool at that point. And I think I remember thinking then that some armies in normal 40k or match play, that'd be a really cool thing to be able to do. Is deploy where you don't really know what's there, which, like for these guys as well, popping up out of sewers or hiding and things like that. You can put a unit in ambush and then place an ambush marker anywhere on your... okay, so that's how it works. So you put them in ambush and then you place the ambush marker in your deployment zone. I see. That makes sense. Yeah, so that seems pretty cool for them. But like I say, I haven't really looked at anything so far. I've not looked at anything. Haven't looked at the book. I've pretty much just seen the models and thought, oh, okay, yeah. Quad bikes and... oh, off the head. Quad bikes and motorbikes. And some, the cool new, is it the Ridge Runner vehicle? I thought, yeah, that pretty much does it for me. Any unit can use a marker. Oh, okay, so so you can pop up from any of the markers. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that pretty much sold me just even on some of the new models. I thought, oh, okay, that'll be enough of a reason for me to finish them off. Okay, that's going to come out of the way. There we go. So yeah, I haven't really looked at them as far as how competitive they could be, or you know, how good they would be necessarily. It was more just, you know, I thought they were pretty cool. I've been trying my hardest to try and get back into 40k, but nothing's really caught my eye at the minute to go, oh yeah, okay, even just for models to collect or something. So I think these guys might be the ones to do it. Let's just check through on Facebook. What do you play? As in, what armies do I play, or what am I playing at the minute instead of 40k? If it's that, then at the minute, I've been playing a lot of Age of Sigmar, but before that, I was playing Death Guard. For a while, I was playing with those, and I did start to play Tyranids. Yeah, what system? Yeah, so yeah, Age of Sigmar I've been playing for quite a while, and I was playing Death Guard before I stopped playing 40k, and I did dabble a little bit in Tyranids again, because I used to play in 7th. I had a lot of armies, and so I had plenty of stuff to use and things, but it just wasn't, as they were making the changes throughout 8th, I just really wasn't feeling the game that much, and so just ended up as a substitute playing in our local gaming group, just playing more Age of Sigmar. And then, as it tends to happen with me, if I want something to do, I'll book into like an event or something like that, or I'll find a tournament somewhere, and then of course once you do that, a lot of your time goes into getting your army ready for that, and then in turn means you start you need to get more practice games in for that kind of thing, and it sort of swamped from one thing to another, and I just carried on playing AOS and sort of left 40k behind a little bit, and then kept looking back to try and pick it up, but like I say, I just didn't find anything that I particularly liked. So, but now with the Gene Stealers, hopefully that changes. I know we've got a couple of lads at the minute this weekend at the Warhammer World GT 40k GT heat, and it looked pretty good. They looked like there was, I think they've done a bit on the missions there. I haven't looked at them, but from the guys that have gone, they've said I think they've got a few changes to some missions and that for the weekend. Whether that's come around in turn, seeing some feedback from the LVO or something like that, I don't know. But there seemed to be quite a variety of armies that were there, although still, a ruckload of Eldar and things, as you'd expect. So, so what whoever's watching at the minute, what we're working on, or what are we playing at the minute, or trying out and things. What armies are we playing with? Trying things out. And did we catch much of the LVO coverage? Was anyone watching the LVO coverage? I only managed to catch a little bit of it. I caught the semi-final and the final game. I did want to try and catch more of it, but unfortunately didn't get the chance. But our very own Manny said he really enjoyed the weekend. Had a good time. I watched Scarcast last night. He was watching his videos of being at the LVO, and Manny ended up playing against him, and he said it was his favourite game of his time being there, so that was good to hear. Now this is where probably the instructions would have been a good idea, but never mind. Just getting that in there. So at the minute, the stuff I've got left to build is I've got however many more aberrants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aberrants left to do, left to build, and the big dude that came in that tooth and claw set, we've got that as well. So we've got him to build. I've just built the banner bearer, and I have got some other bits from some other stuff that I've picked up recently that I think I'll end up building. Try and work on. But yeah, guys, let me know what you're working on at the minute, or what you're painting, or any events that you've got coming up. Are there any events that you're going to soon? Because I think that's the way that I'm actually going to end up getting back into 40k, is probably just saying to myself, right, okay, let's pick something, play a few games, and then just go to an event or something again. And you know, usually after playing in a tournament, you tend to get the hype to play again. So maybe end up doing that. There we go. Who needs instructions? Who needs instructions? Oh, no, these guys are such cool models. I ended up pretty much with most of this stuff from that old... What was that game that they came in? Was it the Deathwatch one? Deathwatch Overkill. And ended up picking up a load of sets of that. And before I knew it, looked back at my collection, and I'd pretty much got a whole army of stuff. So I thought, I'll keep hold of these guys, get them painted up, and then now at least I'm glad I did that, because I've hopefully got enough of an army. The only thing I'm not sure on, like I say, I haven't read the book yet, but is how much of, say, like the guard stuff that I'd want to add in, or whether it's not, whether they're not going to add much to the army or anything. I'm not sure. I don't know whether I'm just going to go, you know, pure Gene Stealer stuff, or whether I do want to add in the hybrids or the Imperium stuff in there and things like that. But I did quite like how, I don't know if anyone saw that the Warhammer community stuff, or the Warhammer TV page and that, have been posting up on Facebook, and they started putting things like some combos up that you could do. This was before the Gene Stealer Cult book release, and they were just putting up, you know, some cool little combos that you could do with the army, and I thought that was quite a good idea. Actually, because like that, for me, already knowing something, you know, that's how you're going to be able to use something sort of earlier on, usually would encourage me to go, oh, okay, yeah, I'll pick those up then and maybe try that idea out and things. So it's quite good to see that amidst all their other, you know, community stuff they're doing, that, you know, things like that probably, you know, actually shows, or certainly, like, I think actually shows that the play testers and things like that are actually doing a lot more now for the game than they used to do. Whereas it used to just be sort of, you know, push rules out and off you go, and see you again in 5 years for your next codex kind of thing. Seems pretty good that they're, you know, that even GW are posting out some ideas for lists, or ideas for how to use units and all that kind of thing, which is good. Because I think the one they were doing was with is it the Jackal, the leader guy on one of the jet bikes, on the motorbikes and things, and with the quads and that. It looked pretty cool. The little idea they'd got for that. I'm so glad they brought a kit of these out. I was getting fed up of building the same ones all the time from the other set. And I think the Genestealer Occult models are so cool. Just like I do like all the Tyranid models and things, but I just had so many of them that I just couldn't bring myself to paint them all, or to even work on them, or any of them particularly. So let's just have a quick look, see what's going on. So yeah, guys, what are you working on? Drop us a message. Get involved in the chat. What's everyone working towards at the minute? Knights, okay, cool. Working on them knights. How much of a change do you reckon there might be to Castellans after the LVO? Or after events in general lately? People think there'll be much of a change? I mean, there was a thing I saw the other day when they were saying that 40k is working as intended, and they referred to the Castellan. But obviously, like they said, the thing is, you bring that model out, and for them it's still a business. They've still got to, think about sales and get it out there. But the only thing with that is, like, what do people think about if they do something like that, where they say, right, okay, they obviously say to themselves, right, we're going to bring out this model, it's going to have some pretty cool rules, we know people therefore are going to buy it. So people start buying it, and, you'll always get the people who are just still casual, just buying into it. You'll always get people, who will buy the model just to paint it up and things like that. But obviously it's very, very popular at the minute. And I mean, what do you think then about when things get so popular then in the game at the minute? It seems to be that either there's a few changes made to things, or maybe some stuff like in the past has got nerfed and things like that. So like, what do people think about that, as far as that mixture between it's still the business model of trying to get that model out there and sold to people, but still trying to keep that balance of when it obviously becomes so popular in match play, not completely writing it off and thinking, oh, okay, well, they're just not worthwhile anymore, and it maybe gets a bit tedious for people who are buying the miniatures all the time, thinking, well, I'm buying these models and they're good for a while, and then the match play meta sort of changes how things work then. Because I would imagine that's a pretty fine balance between the two things, trying to make sure they still push out models that have got good rules that people actually want to bother buying them. Because even if the model's just cool looking, that is enough for some people. But you want it to be useful, and you would expect when new books come out and new units to come out that they are actually going to be useful. Like, it would be a shame, for example, if the Genestealer Occult book comes out and you just never see any of the new stuff. I mean, I don't know, that might be the case, but it would be a shame to think that they bring out the model range and then, stuff doesn't get used. So I would imagine it's quite a difficult balancing thing between the two. Camera angle looks loads better, mate. Yeah, well, I thought I'd just move it around just to see, especially figuring if we're gonna be building stuff. Okay, so you clearly are not a part for that. This is definitely the reason why instructions are good. Use your instructions, people. I don't even know where they'd be for this, so I'm pretty much on my own. You can see me fail at my hobby. Trying to actually assemble these models. Okay, you clearly are going to go there. Boom. Then you're going to go there? Nope. Okay. Then... oh, is it going to be one of those? Is it going to be one of these? There's so many more pieces than the last set. There we go. Found it. And so is that all the 40k books done now as well? Is that all the 40k books that finished? Can't remember what else is due to be. I really should end up paying more attention to the game. Okay, you're on there. And there we go. Found your hammer as well. Perfect. And he can go on there. Awesome. 3 down. So I built some hybrids up the other day. So I think I'll have another 10 hybrids. These are Berents. And then the Icon and the big boy to do. And then I might throw in some of the new bits and pieces just to see what they come out like. But right, on to the next one. On to this one. Where are we all today, guys? It's that lazy Sunday afternoon. So again, if throughout the week, if there's things that you want us to cover or go over, I think as well one of the weeks or a couple of weeks we'll get some other people on having a chat as well, just talking about their hobby and what they're working towards. You know, because this is literally just designed to be that nice, chilled out, as if you're around your mate's house, building your models, you know, just talking hobby basically. So might get some more people on, see what people are working on, maybe even try and get some people around to you know, maybe have a talk about some of the events they've been to more recently. And if you haven't already, guys, there's the Glasshammer St. George's Champion, which is coming up, and there's the And there's a little one day. I'll get the dates in a sec. But if you go onto the Glasshammer Facebook page or onto the Glasshammer website, then all the events that they are currently working on and providing are all up on there. So there'll be a good couple of tournaments. So don't even think I've got a ticket yet for the 40k one. So maybe I'll have to use that and get these Gene Stealer Colts done for then. Do you reckon I can actually learn the game, Dan, in about, what, 2 months? Actually maybe get some games in. I'll have to see. But that could be a reason for me to start playing again, is actually have something to go and play in. So, but yeah, if you haven't got your tickets for that already, then get on that. We've also, for anyone who's interested, got an Age of Sigmar tournament coming up. Our first Age of Sigmar tournament in March. So that'd be really cool. And now I'm just trying to work out the arm. Should we just go this one again? Yes, we've got our first Age of Sigmar event coming up. So yeah, like 3 events. There's a singles 40k tournament on the same day as the AOS one. So that's pretty cool. So that one's Trinity of Blood. So the Trinity of Blood, St. George's Champion. Where's your chest plate? You don't have a chest plate. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. So is it maybe going to be this one? This was such a bad idea to do this without instructions. Such a bad idea. Okay, get that on there. Well, we're going to assume we'll have to take his head off now. There we go. Perfect. So you must then have the mini pickaxe. Any of you guys who are watching heading over to the any of the Glasshammer events? I would say that might now be my way back in now. Actually go to a tournament, get smashed for a weekend, and then learn why I wasn't playing the game. So that's another one. One more to go, and then the aberrants are done. So grab a drink, guys. Right, last guy. And we can move on to the big boy and get him built up. So this is the guy with got the street post, isn't it, I think? Pretty cool model. Pretty cool model. Just have a quick look. Yeah, so it looks like some of the armies that are at the 40k GT this weekend at Warhammer World. So there's a list here with 3 Wave Serpents, 3 Ravagers, Rucker Dark Reapers, some Storm Guardians by the look of it, Mechanicum army, 4 of the Dragoons, is it? The shooty ones, the Dragoons? Well, oh no, they're the Ballistari, aren't they? So the Belisarius Call, 4 robots, some Cataphron Destroyers. Looks like a pretty cool army. Then there's 1 Dark Eldar or Drakari army with the... what are the Forge World? What's the Forge World flyer? Not flyer, like the giant, like Raider looking vehicle. So there's 3 of those. By the looks of it, a Succubus, and then 3 units of Witches. So that looks pretty cool. Knight Castellan, 6 Bikes, Dreadnought, some Scouts, and some Guardsmen. A Space Wolf army, Deredia Dreadnought, a load of Marines, some Long Fangs, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 Gene Stealers, 6 Hive Guard, a few Gaunts, a couple of Broodlords, Malanthrope, that looks a pretty cool army, quite nicely painted as well. Imperial Fists, one of the HQ command tanks, the Rhino, what's that, 8 Centurions with bolters, a few Marines, looks pretty cool. Another Mechanicum army, that time with the Dragoons, with the combat ones, couple of the Ballistari, couple of Dune Crawlers, and some Destroyers in there. Shining Spears, so we'll move on from that. More Eldar jet bikes. Tau. Apparently there's not that much Tau this weekend. Riptide, some broadsides, Fire Warriors by the looks of it. Another Knight Castellan, couple of the Warglaves, 4 Cataphron robots. Looks pretty cool. So yeah, it looks like there's some nice variation across the event, which is good. Because that was one thing again that I think it was just, there wasn't so much variation whether it was in my local gaming group, or starting to see things to go to events and thinking, right, okay, there's not too much here in the way of variation. So, but I mean, I suppose that's the same for like playing Age of Sigmar. Although there are a lot of factions, you do tend to see, obviously, if they're more powerful, you see the more powerful ones, especially at something like a GT. You are going to see that, but I still just wonder a little bit whether it's the lack of variety through the armies, maybe, that contributes towards that. But I'm not hating on 40k. I am trying to convince myself to play. And if you guys can convince me to play, then I will start playing again. More than likely. I've got to start using the models at some stage that are just left there now at the minute gathering dust, so they've got to come out the shell at some point. But the only thing is, at the minute now, it's sort of going to be, got to learn all the missions again, learn all the stratagems, and relearn what I'm playing against. And I think that's where the biggest things come from for me, is when I was playing 7th edition, I knew pretty much most of the armies, what you'd see, and a lot of the units I'd know as well, because I still played, even casually, I played most armies. So you know, by the end of it, through looking through the codexes and stuff for long enough, you eventually will pick up, oh, okay, yeah, I still roughly know what this does, roughly know what that does. But the trouble was, it was, you know, now I'm back to square one, really. So it's almost, you know, well, it is pretty much completely relearning the game again. So maybe I should take Dan and Manny up on their list writing service and one-to-one coaching. Should maybe do that. Get them to write me a Gene Stealer cult list. Do you reckon, Dan or Manny? Write me a Gene Stealer cult list. Be pretty cool. Right, I think you're all cleaned up, buddy. So, let's try and work you out. I think we've done pretty well without instructions, although a lot of it was fairly self-explanatory. With this. Right, just get that. Chest plate, where have we put you? Here. Okay, chest plate in. The arms in. Whoops. I'm actually, since building these, quite looking forward to painting them, which should be good. So at least that's step one, I suppose, of wanting to actually. Wow, you've got a pretty messed up face. I'm sorry, faces. Up in there. Sorry guys, I'm trying not to go too quiet, but just concentrating. There we go. Get the second leg on. That clearly is not how your leg goes. I just missed something off. There we go. A little weird position. Foot on there. Extra bit on here. Then put what looks to be its spine on. And then he's got his sort of scorpion tail in there as well. Whack that on. So that is such a cool model. It's almost like he's let's have a look. Yeah, it's almost like, I know the focus is probably out a bit, but like his back and his spine and everything is a bit like a normal Gene Stealer, and then he's got the tail coming through as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, they are really cool models, which now I've just probably dropped and almost broken. There we go. That is one unit of aberrants built. Just have a quick catch up on here, see what's going on. So remember guys, as well, if you haven't signed up to the Glasshammer Elite service, you can always do that. Yeah, you can always do that. Just head on over to glasshammergaming.co.uk, and then you can sign up to one of 3 services, where it's a monthly subscription service. You'll get the rest of February free. At the minute, there's an offer on to get February for free, and you get access to battle reports, extra videos, painting tutorial videos and hobby tutorials, and then you get a massive 30% off GW products, which is huge. So for when these new lists and new units that are decent come out, you can get a good saving on those. Money off the tickets, event tickets that they sell. So yeah, you can, you know, you've only got to spend around £35 a month on GW product to get your money back. So that's not exactly masses. I'm sure most of us spend a lot more than that on our hobbies. So right, we get to build the big guy now. So quite a few more bits on this dude than on the others. So yeah, the next videos will be, if you are an Elite member, you will have the Monday night mashup tomorrow night with Manny. And Manny talks over some of the events that he's been to, some lists that he's working on, and again, just a general chat through bits and pieces for the hobby. Then Tuesday night is back with myself doing more of a painting tutorial video, where last week we went through some new basing ideas, and I think I'm going to do a series on starting from scratch, if you like. So literally working, you know, from building your miniatures, basing your miniatures, priming your miniatures, all that kind of thing, and we'll sort of slowly start building up a library of videos for you guys to watch, or for you guys to go back on, you know, back and view and all that kind of thing. So if you want access to all that extra content, then get on over to the Glasshammer Elite page. But there's also then Open the Vaults on a Friday, and I believe there's a new video now as well, a new stream on a Thursday. I should know. Where are we? Let's just go on and check that out. So Thursday is an old school write-up, Friday's Open the Vaults, and Saturday is when you get your new battle report. So new content every day, basically. I mean, if you guys have got any ideas as well for content or things you'd like to see on the page or in these kinds of videos, you know, some suggestions for things, then please just let any one of us know, or post up on the relevant pages or in the comments for for any of the videos and things, and we can always try and do our best to provide that content that you guys want to see, because ultimately if you're paying for it as well, it's your hobby. You know, so yeah, any suggestions you guys have got would be greatly appreciated. We're looking for time, 1:45. So I think today we'll go till about 3:30. These sessions will usually be about an hour, hour and a half. Today's quite quiet though, so we'll just see how we go. I'm mainly, like I say, building these guys, and then I've got a couple of AOS models that I want to start building, because the Skaven and the Flesh Eater Court books dropped yesterday, so I had a good look through. The Flesh Eater Courts looks absolutely brutal with some of the new combos that you can work on, so that looks really cool. And then the Skaven have had some nice little upgrades, and they've got some really, really cool builds in there, so that'll be nice to work on that. So naturally I've picked up a ruck of Skaven models to work on and get those built up. So I might, after this, maybe build a couple of those, and we'll just see how the chat's going. Get this. Oh, I forgot there was this little familiar dude who goes on there. Right. Well, let's start with you, because you're probably going to be the easiest, given that you pretty much have a head and an arm. Put that on there. Okay. Right. Let's see what we've got here then. This guy is pretty disfigured. So when he's in bits, he looks fairly awkward to build, but actually some of these kits now are absolutely superb from GW, on how they're either put together or how they end up on the sprue and things, and going together. They are really, really nice. Let's grab that bit on there. Get the legs on. Might be one of the awkward bits. Take your arm back off, I think. Oh, this is annoying without the instructions. Think, given the amount of models that I build on a daily basis, that I'd use instructions. Where'd you go in there then? That's because you don't even go where I was trying to wedge you in. You go in there. You go in there. We're working it out. Your head and arm can go back on. Then the spine. Can go back in, and the hammer. Ah, that's where your other hand is. Or your other arm is. It's on there. There we go. Perfect. We got big guy built. Awesome. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, there we go. So, another batch of models ready for the Gene Stealer cult. What I might just do is just see if we go with okay. There we go. So yeah, guys, I mean, like I say, if you've got some suggestions for next week's episode, if you've got some suggestions for the Tuesday night tutorials, if you join us over on there, maybe even this week, what I might do is do work on painting through these guys, and let us know sort of what you'd like as far as the format of it as well, because like I'm thinking sometimes that it might be better to do like a pre-recorded video, certainly for a tutorial, because it means that then at least you can go back, you can watch it a bit easier, it's a bit more condensed, and maybe keep these as your live stream, so we can build up a library in the Elite page, the Glasshammer Elite page, yeah, and then sort of work forward from there. Maybe then at least could do series on painting through you know, certain units, certain armies, certain models, etc., things like that. I'd also got an idea then for the one day to do a much longer stream and see if I can get like sort of a force, or at least half of a force, painted up and go through and do things like that. So maybe we could get people involved in doing that kind of thing. Another idea I'd had was every once in a while I tend to have some mates over and we all paint and things like that, and so maybe do a live stream with that as well, so we've got a lot more people on and we can sort of talk about bits and pieces, you know, as we go through, and sort of talk some hobby and all that kind of thing. So I mean, if those are good ideas and things that you guys would want to see or would watch, or you know, like I say, we are open to ideas, guys. If you've got ideas for things, you know, and you want to see some specific types of content, then let me know. But I think, like I say, probably for Tuesday's session, I might look at painting some of the skin on these guys, because if I just quickly zoom in a little bit, which should work. So if I'm gonna go back here, now it's quite bright there. So and do that. So for example, the miniatures I've already painted up for the army. Let's get you in. Are you going to behave? Sorry guys, just trying to adjust the focus. There we go, that's better. So I know Facebook isn't great for close-ups, so but so this is how I've been painting up these guys before. So they almost look to me as well, because of the way that I've done the edge highlighting. They're sort of a little bit Sin City-ish, sort of a bit comic book strip. That was kind of the idea that I was going for with these guys. So those are the old aberrants, and then we've got the acolytes. So I've painted up a few of these guys. That's the scheme we've got on those. And then some of the other models that we've done or worked on for the army. There's the cool Broodlord model that came in that kit as well. So he's pretty much done now. Maybe just a few bits and pieces, but so we've got him done. It's been a while actually since I've even looked at these, so it's pretty cool to go back over and see what we've still got. We started off doing the Magus as well. Definitely picking up the new characters because they look really cool. So we started work on the Magus. Load more acolytes, and then there was this guy. I can't remember who this guy was who came in that set as well. But started doing him, so he'll need finishing off. But yeah, so that's sort of roughly how they're going to be, in that orangey, purpley flesh that sort of keeps them towards the traditional Gene Stealer. And then I've done a cool conversion for a guy, where are we? Using one of the Mechanicum models. Now I've got more bits. Might change things like the bit on the backpack there and things, but he was definitely a really cool model to use, and for some reason ended up with so many of them. So that was a pretty cool conversion that I did there for him. And then the normal acolytes. Yeah, we got one there, just as an example of how they've come out. So yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed painting these guys, so I'm actually looking forward to you know, to working on them some more and actually getting a whole army painted up. Certainly a whole army painted up if I can, to a fairly decent standard. But certainly want to get some of the newer models to add in. But that's sort of what we're looking at for that. So maybe on the Tuesday, the next tutorial Tuesday, we'll have a look at working on some more of the models that we've built today and adding those in and seeing what we can do. Just actually going to sort out what I've even got for this army, because I really cannot remember, or certainly can't remember how much I'd got done. But and I've still got quite a few bits and pieces lying around somewhere to carry on with. So I think this would definitely be a cool army to finish off. Now let's just work out what we've even got. I love finding boxes of minis and then thinking, oh, okay, what have we actually got in here? I think I did those for some kind of painting competition. Wow, we've got loads of stuff. Loads of stuff. Loads of the hybrids and things. But because I'd got quite a lot of them painted, was why I wanted to try and finish these off, because at least then, you know, sort of like I say, no matter how good they are or end up being, they will be pretty much, they'll be pretty much done. There's certainly a few more boxes of bits that I want to pick up to add in of some of the older stuff as well. Like I want to get some more of the transports and things. So yeah, I've got about a bajillion of the hybrids. So good finding boxes of models. I love it. The missus doesn't love it, but that's not the point though, is it? There we go. Oh, perfect. So actually quite a few, and one lonely pure strain, who at the minute nothing's happened with him. So I probably need to get some more of the pure strains done up. Probably got some of those lying around somewhere. But yeah, so I think we might carry on working on some of these, and then at least find another one. You know, maybe do sort of like a progress thing on a Sunday for a while as well, of how we're getting on with the Gene Stealer cult. So maybe sort of do a mini series for the next couple of weeks to see you know, what else we can get built and what else we can get painted up, and then maybe, like I say, take it to a tournament or something and see what they're like. Certainly need to pick up the book first and at least have a look through there and see what we can even build for the army. But I think it's definitely going to be my way back into 40k, so might be quite cool for people, you know, if anyone else is thinking of getting back into 40k and you know, they're working on an army or working through armies and things to try and get those ready. You know, it might be quite a cool little series to do that we can actually go from, well, from this, which is pretty much, I have got more bits in the box that aren't painted. I've got some more hybrids and things kicking around, and I've got a couple more aberrants kicking around because I'm pretty sure I had 2 units of them. So now obviously I've got the 3. And you know, just actually work through the army for, you know, for what we've got, and then add some of the extra bits, in from the new releases. Certainly some of the characters maybe, and you know, at least get a unit of bikes in there, and just try and get them all to a pretty decent standard, because that was the other thing, was with 40k I was ending up with so many armies and the standard of my painting was just dropping, and given that that's what I do for a living, it's kind of annoying if I can't go to a tournament going, yeah, okay, I am actually quite, you know, quite impressed with how this army looks and things. You know, I've always got to feel a little bit like, oh god, you know, I don't want anyone to sort of ask and find out that I'm a painter kind of thing if I don't feel that they're as good as they could be. Whereas these guys, because I've already broken the back of sort of 75% of the models I own, although they're not all finished, but they certainly will. It's certainly going to be a quicker way for me to get the army, you know, up and running. So the only thing I might change is the bases, because I quite like having the road bases, but it's a pain to actually build them all the time and then trying to paint them on. So I might just invest in getting some resin bases for these guys just to really make them stand out a bit more, and get those on. So, and there's some cool things that we can do with those, which I might put on the stream as well at the same time. So yeah, I think maybe the next few weeks, the Sunday sit downs, I'll just work on some Genestealer cult stuff, and we'll actually try and get an army together for them. You know, and see where I can go from there, and then maybe do some updates if I do manage to get to a couple of events with them, and see how they actually pan out. But yeah, it's actually, even just getting the models out for now is even inspiring me to actually, well, firstly to paint them, but also to then, once they're painted, that'll inspire me to get them on the table then. Hi Daniel, how's it going, mate? Just chatting about the Genestealer cults and trying to get me back into 40k a little bit. So yeah, so I think that might be where we go from here with them, and you know, push, try and push the army out and get it done. And once it's fully painted, that'll actually give me some kind of inspiration to even play with them. And then once I know I start playing, is the likely chance that I'll, you know, enjoy wanted to play the game again. I think it's just I've fallen out of love with it a bit from a couple of perspectives, thinking, well, I don't have an army ready, I don't have much motivation to want to paint an army, whereas now if I'm slowly getting back into you know, into even wanting to buy models for the game, then that might be the best way to go forward. And I think the best thing I've done so far is condense my collection down, because I don't know about you guys, but I haven't for Age of Sigmar. I've just basically swapped my 40k stuff for Age of Sigmar stuff, but because I've been playing it, I've been getting it painted, so I don't feel as bad with it just sat there doing nothing. At least it's actually getting used and it's, you know, painted up, so it's not quite as big a mound of grey. But the one thing I was finding with 40k was I just had so many models and so many armies and so many things lying around, it just became so overwhelming to even do anything. Whereas now at the minute, I think, you know, maybe condensing my collection, focusing it on one army, is probably the way to go, I think, for these guys. So yeah, I think maybe, you know, if people are cool with that, I might just do a little bit of a, you know, progress updates just to see how the army's coming on. And like I say, that'll give me the motivation to get them painted, and we'll do maybe some painting tutorials on them, doing the skin and you know, and some alternative colour schemes maybe along the way with some extra models that we've got kicking around. I've been painting since yesterday lunchtime with a few breaks in between. Oh, okay, you planning on going? Have you got an event coming up, Dan? You got a tournament coming up soon? What have you been painting? Please tell me you've been painting Gene Stealer Cult. Because that's probably going to be me in a few weeks' time deciding to go and play in a tournament, and then realising I've got this to paint plus an Age of Sigmar army to paint. But that's pretty good going, man. Painting yesterday, and you know, and going all the not I'm assuming not going all the way through. Don't do that. That's not a recommendation that I can give you, because I've done that fairly recently, where I almost painted for a week flat, and then I painted for 2 days on 4 hours sleep, and then went to a tournament for a weekend, which happened to be that the games didn't finish till about 9:30 at night, so that was an interesting weekend. My next event's in April. Want to leave myself enough time to practice. Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do at the minute. Is, I mean, if I do end up playing in the Glasshammer event, then I would probably end up taking these guys if I could get them done in time. But I would probably need to make that decision fairly quickly, so that I actually make my mind up and settle on a list, so I can just sit and paint. But that's the thing, I'm currently trying to paint an AOS army up, which when I started to decide what I was going to even take to the event was only going to be, I think, 6 or 7 models that I would need to paint, and now since the new Skaven books come out, that's turned into 163 models that I now need to paint. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And then if I add these on top as well, but at least I've got a little bit more time up to April. I'd have another month at least to get these guys done. So what are you planning on playing, Dan? What army are you painting up? But I get the fact, yeah, you want to leave yourself enough time to practice, because like I say, that's the boat I'm going to be in. I think get these on the table as quick as possible, as far as get them built at least, and I can use them, and then you know, and then I can at least start to get some practice games in and try and learn the army a little bit and play some missions and things like that. Made, including magnetising 10 Death Company, remodeled another 10, started painting 15 scouts with bolter, and slapped a base layer on a Libby Dreadnought. That's pretty good going though, and if you've magnetised as well, I mean, I know things like Marines are a nice easier army. Glasshammer will probably have on their trade-in site some more Harlequins soon, as I traded in my Harlequins, and I even went to the lengths of magnetising the Harlequin arms. And that gets really tedious when you have to pretty much find the exact middle point of the arm stump. Otherwise, all of a sudden you start drilling out to the side and you're making holes in the model. So, but even so, man, magnetising 10 Death Company and then remodelling another 10 and building all the rest of the stuff and painting scouts and a dreadnought, that's pretty good going. Certainly in 26 hours. That's pretty good going, man. Be cool to see how they come out. So yeah, I think that'll be the plan. I think now for the coming weeks, and it's because you see now obviously the only thing is, you know, that 2/3 of Glasshammer, or more than that, I suppose, with Adam in there as well. So let's just say 3/4 of Glasshammer are competent 40k players, and I'm your quarter who are not competent at 40k, certainly not anymore, but hopefully I'm fairly competent at painting, and that's where I think I become valid. Hopefully validate me painting. Yeah, so maybe it'd be quite interesting to see the fact that, you know, you're less competent 40k player trying to build up to something with with an army again for an event, and hopefully wanting to enjoy playing the game again, because that's where I'm at the minute overall. But I think that's been pretty good for today, at least getting some more aberrants built up and getting those models done. I'll maybe work on a few extra models this evening and get those built, and then start painting. Maybe actually sort out the whole army and see everything that I've got. And then maybe get ordering some new models, because new models are always cool. But yeah, guys, like I say, if you've got any suggestions for any other bits you want to see, tell your mates and that on a Sunday, if that's your hobby day where you're chilling out, then just join in on the stream no matter where you want. You can go onto Facebook, you can go onto Twitch, you can go onto YouTube. We stream on all three at the same time on a Sunday, so no matter which your preferred platform is, you can catch us and catch what we're doing. So yeah, tell your mates, come and join in on the chat, just talk about what we're doing, what we're working on, or in this case, what events you may be working towards. And yeah, if you've got suggestions for the Tutorial Tuesdays, if you're elite members, then post up your ideas for that. If you're not an elite member, like I said earlier on, you can just head over to glasshammergaming.co.uk. You can sign up to be an elite member with one of the options there, where you get access to loads of more content and access to money off Games Workshop product, and money off the services that Glasshammer provide, along with event tickets, which is cool, because we're trying to push the events and get more events out there. At the minute, give more things for you guys to play in and get involved in. It's always good for the gaming community. So, and next week, like I say, I'll probably have, hopefully I'll manage to get the double camera set up. So we can actually have a camera set up on what we're working on, and then at least on me for whilst we're chatting and things like that. But yeah. I think that'll do for today, guys. Go and sort out the rest of my box of goodies. Good luck, Dan, for the rest of your painting and getting your army together. If I do end up, I probably will end up being at the event at some point anyway, but I'll whether I'm playing or not, so I'll look out for your army and see how it's ended up. And yeah, thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and I will see elite members on Tuesday 7:30, and the rest of you, I will see you next Sunday at the normal time of 12:30. Today just had to be slightly later, but I will catch you guys next week.